The shuttle lurched hard to the left, and Ethan braced against cold metal, his uniform stuck to his back with sweat. Outside the viewport, enemy fire traced lines through the dark. He wasn't supposed to be here. He was supposed to be loading cargo on Deck 7, but the evacuation alarm had screamed through every corridor, and he'd run for the nearest transport like everyone else. The shuttle bay doors were closing fast. Ethan squeezed through with seconds to spare. Inside, people pushed and shoved toward open seats. Military personnel, civilians, engineers, still holding tools. The ship shook again. Something exploded far behind them. Ethan stumbled forward into the passenger hold. Every seat looked taken. His heart hammered. The pilot's voice crackled over the intercom. "Strap in now. We launch in 30 seconds. Ethan spotted one empty seat near the front. He lunged for it. His boots hit the deck hard and he dropped into the chair. His hands fumbled with the harness. 20 seconds. The straps clicked into place. He looked up and froze. The woman beside him wore white. Not the sterile white of a med officer. Not the gray white of standard issue. This was silk. This was ceremonial. Her hair was pinned back in a way that spoke of careful hands and precious time. She turned toward him. Her eyes were calm. Too calm for someone fleeing a dying station. Ethan's breath caught. He knew that face. Everyone in the fleet knew that face. "Ma'am," he started. His voice cracked. "I didn't mean to. It's fine," she said. Her voice cut through the chaos like a blade through water. "I should find another seat. I shouldn't be." The shuttle engines roared to life. The floor vibrated beneath them. 10 seconds. She reached over and took his hand. Her grip was firm, warm, real. "Stay here, please," she said. Ethan stared at her. The queen of the Allied human territories was holding his hand. He couldn't move, couldn't think. The shuttle lifted off. G-forces pressed him back into his seat. Through the viewport, he saw the station break apart. Metal, twisted. Fire bloomed in the vacuum. People were still on that station. People who hadn't made it to the shuttles. Her hand tightened around his. "Look at me," she said. Not at that. He looked. Her eyes held something he couldn't name. Not fear. Not quite courage either. Something else. Something that made him forget the destruction outside. Something that made him squeeze back. The shuttle punched through debris and banked hard toward open space. They were alive. For now. The shuttle broke atmosphere and the shaking stopped. Ethan's ears popped. His hand was still locked with hers. He realized it suddenly and tried to pull away. She held on. "Don't," she said quietly. "People are watching." He glanced around. She was right. Every eye in the passenger hold had found them. A cargo technician sitting with the queen, her hand in his. Whispers started, low at first, then louder. "Let them think what they want," she continued. Her voice stayed level. "It keeps them calm. They see me calm, and they stay calm." Ethan swallowed hard. "Who were you running from?" "The Korthax advance fleet. They hit the station 40 minutes ago. We lost perimeter defenses in 12. She said it like she was reading a weather report. Command estimated we had 20 minutes before hull breach. We had 18. The shuttle's internal lights flickered. Someone gasped. The pilot's voice came through again. "Minor power fluctuation. We're stable. ETA to the carrier Valiant is 16 minutes. 16 minutes. Ethan had never heard silence so loud. The queen finally released his hand. She straightened in her seat. Her posture changed. Became formal. Became what people expected. "What's your name?" she asked. "Ethan Cole. Cargo specialist. Second class. Second class." She almost smiled. "How long have you served?" 11 months. "First evacuation?" "Yes, ma'am." "You did well." Most people freeze their first time. Ethan thought about the people he'd shoved past, the engineer he'd knocked aside. "I'm not sure I did." "You're alive?" "That's what matters." She looked toward the viewport. "Do you know why the Korthax are winning this war?" The question caught him off guard. "They have better ships?" "No. We matched their technology 6 months ago. They're winning because they don't hesitate. They don't question. They see a target, and they erase it. She turned back to him. Humans hesitate. We second guess. We wonder if we did the right thing. That's our weakness. That's also what makes us human, Ethan said before he could stop himself. Her eyebrow raised. Careful, that almost sounded like philosophy. Sorry. I didn't mean... Don't apologize. You're right. Seemed to measure her next words. The Korthax don't take prisoners. They don't negotiate. 3 months ago, they glassed the colony at Epsilon Prime. 40,000 people. They broadcast the entire thing as a warning. Ethan had heard the stories. Everyone had. Why are you telling me this? Because in about 15 minutes, we're going to dock with the Valiant. When we do, there will be cameras, reporters, officers. They're going to ask questions about what happened on the station, about why I was there, about the intelligence we lost. She leaned closer. Her voice dropped. And they're going to see you. The cargo tech who sat next to the Queen. They'll want to know who you are. Why I chose you. You didn't choose me. I just sat down. They won't believe that. So here's what you're gonna do. When they ask, you tell them I requested you specifically. That you were assigned to my security detail for the evacuation. That's a lie. That's survival. The moment we dock, you become part of something bigger. You understand? Ethan's throat felt dry. No, I really don't. You will. She looked past him toward the rest of the passengers. The Korthax want us afraid, divided. They want us to see our leaders abandon us. Instead, they're going to see their queen arrive with a common soldier at her side. They're going to see unity, strength. The shuttle began its docking approach. Through the viewport, the Valiant came into view. It was massive, a carrier-class vessel bristling with weapons. Lights blazed across its hull. Fighter craft swarmed around it like insects. Ma'am, Ethan said carefully, what was on that station? What intelligence did we lose? Her expression hardened. The location of their home world. We had it. We were going to end this war. She stood as the docking clamps engaged. Now we start over. And pray we get another chance before they come for Earth. The airlock door hissed open. Lights flooded in. Ethan heard voices. Cameras. He stood on shaking legs. The Queen stepped through first. Then she turned and extended her hand. Stay close, she said. Ethan took it and stepped into the light. The cameras hit like physical force. Flashes everywhere. Voices shouting questions over each other. Ethan's eyes hadn't adjusted when hands grabbed him. Security personnel in black armor formed a wall around them. The Queen walked forward without breaking stride. Her hand still held his. She pulled him through the crowd like he weighed nothing. Your Majesty, what happened on the station? Was this a targeted attack? Who is that with you? She ignored them all. The security team pushed through to a clear corridor. The noise faded behind sealed doors. Ethan's heart wouldn't slow down. They walked fast, turned left, then right. The carrier's interior was all white walls and blue lighting. Personnel snapped to attention as they passed. They entered a lift. The doors closed. Finally, she released his hand. You did fine, she said. I didn't do anything. Exactly. The lift climbed. In about 30 seconds, we're meeting with Fleet Admiral Grant. He's gonna be angry. The station was his responsibility. Let me handle him. Why am I coming? Because I need a witness who isn't military. Someone who can't be pressured by chain of command. The lift stopped. The doors opened onto a strategic operations deck. Holographic displays filled the space. Star charts, fleet positions, damage reports scrolling in red text. Officers moved between stations with controlled urgency. At the center stood a man in full dress uniform. His face was stone. Gray hair cut military precise. 3 stars on his collar. Fleet Admiral Grant turned as they approached. His eyes found Ethan first, lingered, then moved to the Queen. Your Majesty, thank God you're safe. His voice carried no warmth. We need to discuss what happened. Yes, we do. She moved to the main tactical display. Show me current Korthax positions. Grant hesitated, glanced at Ethan. Ma'am, this is classified. Cargo Specialist Cole is now part of my personal staff. He has clearance. She said it like it was already true. "Show me." Grant's jaw tightened, but he nodded. An officer activated the display. Red markers appeared across the star chart, dozens of them, all moving toward human territory. "They're not stopping," Grant said. "The station was just the beginning. Intelligence suggests they're preparing a major offensive. 3 battle groups, maybe 4. What's their target? We don't know. Could be the mining colonies at Arcturus. Could be the manufacturing centers at New Houston. Could be Earth itself." The Queen studied the display. Her finger traced a path through the markers. "How long until they reach firing range of our core systems?" 6 days. Maybe 7 if we're lucky. "We're not lucky. We're losing." She turned to face him fully. "I want to know how the Korthax knew I was on that station. It wasn't on any official schedule. Only you and 3 others knew I was there." Grant's expression didn't change. "You think we have a leak?" "I think we have a traitor. Someone fed them my location. They wanted me dead or captured." "That's a serious accusation. Look at the timing, Admiral. They hit us exactly when I was in the intelligence vault accessing the homeworld coordinates. Not before, not after." Ethan watched them. The tension was thick enough to cut. Grant's hand rested on his side arm. The Queen noticed. So did Ethan. "Ma'am," Ethan said. Both of them looked at him. "The evacuation alarm went off 40 minutes ago. You said they hit the station 40 minutes ago, but I was in Cargo Bay 7. The alarm there didn't go off until 38 minutes ago." Grant's eyes narrowed. "What are you suggesting? Someone delayed the evacuation alarm in the lower decks, gave people less time to escape?" The Queen's expression shifted. Something dangerous entered her eyes. "How many personnel were stationed in lower decks?" An officer checked his tablet. 342, mostly civilian contractors and support staff. "How many made it off?" The officer's face went pale. 71 confirmed evacuations from lower deck sections. The math was brutal. Over 200 people had died because someone delayed a warning by 2 minutes. The Queen walked to Grant, stood close. Her voice dropped to something cold. "Find out who had access to the alarm systems. Find out who delayed them. And find out why the Korthax knew exactly where I was." She leaned in. "Because if you don't, I will. And you won't like my methods." Grant held her stare. "You're talking about investigating my command staff. I'm talking about surviving the next 6 days. Are we clear?" A long moment passed. Finally, Grant nodded. "Crystal clear, Your Majesty." "Good. Now get me a secure line to the Colonial Defense Fleet. If the Korthax want to fight, we'll give them one they remember." She turned away from him, caught Ethan's eye, gestured toward a side office. He followed her in. The door sealed behind them. She leaned against the desk and exhaled. For the first time, she looked tired. "You think Grant's the traitor?" Ethan asked. "I think someone wants me to think he is, which means the real traitor is still hiding." She looked at him directly. "How good are you with security systems?" "I load cargo containers." "That wasn't the question." Ethan paused. "I might have bypassed a few access locks when I needed to reach restricted storage areas. For legitimate reasons." A ghost of a smile crossed her face. "Legitimate. Right." She pulled up a data pad. "I need someone to access the station's final logs. Someone who isn't flagged in the military network. Someone they won't see coming." "You want me to hack our own systems?" "I want you to help me save 300 billion human lives. What you call it is up to you." Outside the office, alarms began to wail. The alarms cut through everything. Red emergency lights pulsed. Ethan's instincts screamed at him to run, but the Queen moved toward the door. She opened it to chaos. Officers sprinting between stations, holographic displays flashing warnings. Grant's voice boomed across the deck. "Battle stations. All hands to battle stations. Korthax scout ships detected at Sector 47. Distance closing fast." The Queen grabbed an officer by the arm. "How many ships?" 6 confirmed. "Fast attack class. They're burning hard toward our position. They tracked us." She said it flat. "Certain. Someone told them which carrier I evacuated to." Grant appeared beside them. His face had gone from stone to iron. "We need to get you off this ship. Now." "Absolutely not. Your Majesty, this isn't negotiable. If they breach the hull, then we don't let them breach the hull." She moved to the tactical display. "What's our defensive posture? 2 destroyer escorts, 1 frigate. The rest of the battle group is scattered across 3 sectors responding to other attacks. So we're alone. We can hold until reinforcements arrive. 15 minutes, maybe 20. The Queen's fingers flew across the display controls. She pulled up ship schematics, weapon systems, power distribution. Ethan watched her work. She knew this carrier better than most of its crew. "Reroute auxiliary power from life support decks 8 through 12, she said. "Channel it to forward railguns. That will drop environmental systems for 4,000 personnel. They can hold their breath for 20 minutes. "Do it." Grant hesitated 1 second, then nodded to his weapons officer. "Make it happen." The deck shuddered. Impact. Something hit the carrier's shields. Ethan grabbed a support rail. The lights flickered. Came back. An officer shouted coordinates. Another called out shield strength. 94%. Still strong. "Return fire," Grant ordered. "All batteries. Light them up." Through the viewport at the far end of the deck, Ethan saw weapons fire lance into the black, brilliant streaks of accelerated metal. A Korthak scout ship exploded. Debris scattered like sparks. "1 down," someone said. 5 still closing. The Queen turned to Ethan. "That datapad I mentioned. I need it now." "Now? We're under attack." Which means security protocols are focused external. Internal networks are vulnerable. "This is our window." She pulled him toward a secondary terminal. Her fingers accessed a command interface. Code scrolled faster than Ethan could read. She inserted a drive, downloaded something, pulled it out and pressed it into his hand. "This contains backdoor access to every system on this carrier, including the black box logs from the station. I need you to find who delayed those evacuation alarms. I don't even know where to start. Start with personnel who had command override privileges. Cross-reference with anyone who accessed communication arrays in the 30 minutes before the attack. Look for patterns, anomalies, anything that doesn't fit. Another impact, harder this time." The deck tilted. Ethan's boots lost traction. He slid, caught himself on the terminal. Alarms screamed louder. Someone yelled about shield collapse in Sector 9. Grant's voice cut through. "Evasive maneuvers. Get us out of their firing solution." The carrier banked. Ethan felt the artificial gravity strain. His stomach lurched. The Queen didn't move. Didn't even brace herself. She kept working the terminal. "They're boxing us in," an officer reported. 3 ships portside, 2 starboard, 1 diving under our ventral arc. "That's not an attack pattern." The Queen's voice carried across the deck. Everyone stopped, looked at her. "That's a capture formation. They don't want to destroy us. They want to board." Grant's face went white. "All hands prepare for boarding action. Security teams to airlocks and docking ports. Authorization code Omega Red 7, Admiral." The Queen's tone made him freeze. "Evacuate non-essential personnel, medical, engineering support. Anyone who can't hold a weapon. Your Majesty, that includes you. I'm essential." She pulled a sidearm from a weapons locker. "Check the charge. And I can hold a weapon just fine. I can't let you fight. You can't stop me. Cole, you're with me." Ethan's head spun. "What? Where are we going?" "Deck 4. Server room. That's where you'll access the logs. That's also where they'll try to breach first. It's the data core. If they take it, they take everything." She was already moving. Ethan ran after her. Behind them, Grant was shouting orders. The sounds of battle intensified. They hit the corridor at a sprint. Other personnel rushed past in the opposite direction. Evacuation. The smart ones. They reached another lift. Descended. The Queen checked her weapon again. Looked at Ethan. "Can you shoot? I qualified in basic." "That's not what I asked." Ethan thought about it. Really thought. "I don't know." "Honest answer." "Good." The lift stopped. Doors opened. "Stay behind me. Don't hesitate. Don't think. Just act." They entered Deck 4. The server room was ahead, 50 meters. The corridor was empty. Too empty. Emergency lighting cast everything in red shadow. Their footsteps echoed. The Queen moved like she'd done this before. Weapon up. Ethan had nothing. No weapon. No training. Just a datapad and rapidly disappearing courage. They reached the server room door. It was sealed. The Queen entered her command code. Nothing happened. She tried again. Still nothing. They've locked it remotely, she said. Someone's already here. A sound behind them. Ethan spun. 3 figures emerged from a side passage. Not Korthax. Human, wearing carrier uniforms. But their weapons were pointed at the Queen. The lead figure stepped into the light. Ethan recognized him. Commander Phillips, one of Grant's senior tactical officers. Your Majesty. Phillips smiled. It was wrong. All wrong. I'm afraid you're coming with us. Dash. The Queen's weapon came up smooth, professional. She didn't shake. Phillips, I should have known. You should have stayed dead on that station. Phillips kept his weapon steady. The 2 soldiers flanking him spread out. Created crossfire angles. Would have been cleaner. Let me guess. The Korthax promised you what? Money? Power? A nice estate on whatever world they leave standing? They promised me survival. That's more than you can offer. Phillips gestured with his weapon. Drop it. Both hands where I can see them. The Queen didn't move. How long have you been feeding them intelligence? 8 months. Long enough to know we've already lost this war. I'm just choosing the winning side. There's no winning side when you betray your own species. There's no species left if we keep fighting. Phillips's voice hardened. Last chance. Drop the weapon. Ethan's mind raced. 3 armed soldiers. 1 weapon. Mathematics didn't favor them. The Queen's finger rested on the trigger. She was calculating the same odds. Ethan could see it in her eyes. She was going to shoot. Going to try to take all 3 of them down before they could return fire. She was going to die. Wait. Ethan stepped forward, put himself between her and Phillips. Just wait. Cole, move aside. The Queen's voice was sharp. No. He kept his hands visible, looked at Phillips. You need her alive, right? That's why you're here instead of just blowing the door. The Korthax want her alive. Phillips nodded slowly. Smart kid. They want her as a bargaining chip. Show the colonies their queen. Bent the knee. Breaks resistance faster than any weapon. So you can't shoot her. You need her intact. Ethan took another step, which means you need me to move. And I'm not moving. Then we shoot you and take her anyway. You could. But then she shoots you while you're shooting me. Maybe she gets all 3 of you. Maybe just 2. Either way, you lose. The corridor went silent except for the distant sounds of battle. Phillips studied Ethan, weighing options. The Queen's voice came from behind. Cole, what are you doing? Buying time. He hoped he sounded confident. How long until the Korthax board, Phillips? 2 minutes? 3? That's not much of a window. You need to secure her and get to the docking port before Grant's security teams lock down every route. We have the access codes. You had them. The Queen just changed them 30 seconds ago, right before we came down here. Ethan was lying. Hoping. Praying Phillips would believe it. That datapad she gave me? New security protocols. Every door. Every lift. Every airlock. You're stuck. Phillips' eye twitched. Uncertainty. Good. He's bluffing, one of the soldiers said. Maybe. But can you afford to guess wrong? Ethan kept talking. Here's what I think. I think you're trapped. I think your Korthax friends are going to board and you're going to be caught in the middle. Human soldiers on one side, aliens on the other. And nobody to verify you're one of the traitors. They have recognition codes, do they? Because in my experience, the Korthax don't really care about human distinctions. We all look the same to them. All bleed the same. Philip's weapon lowered an inch. Just an inch. Behind Ethan, the Queen moved. He felt rather than saw it. Heard the shot more than registered it. Phillips's shoulder exploded. He spun, dropped his weapon. The Queen's second shot took the soldier on the left, center mass. He went down. The third soldier fired. Ethan felt heat pass his ear. The Queen's third shot caught the soldier in the leg. He collapsed, screaming. Phillips scrambled for his weapon with his good arm. Ethan kicked it away, hard. It skittered across the deck. The Queen was already on him, weapon pressed to his head. Access code for the server room. Now. Go to hell. She pulled the trigger. Click. Empty. Blood ran down his uniform. You're out. I know. She reversed the weapon. Brought the grip down across his jaw. Bone cracked. Phillips's laugh became a gurgle. But I don't need bullets to hurt you. Code. Now. Phillips spat blood. 7 Delta 49 Echo. The Queen moved to the door, entered it. The lock cycled green. The door opened. She grabbed Ethan and pulled him inside. Hit the emergency seal. The door slammed shut. Locked from the inside. The server room was cool. Rows of processing units hummed. Data streams flowed across monitors. The Queen leaned against the wall. Checked her weapon. Found a spare magazine in her jacket. Reloaded. That was incredibly stupid, she said. Yeah. Ethan's hands were shaking. Yeah, it was. It also saved our lives. Thank you. He nodded, couldn't form words. The adrenaline was catching up. His legs felt weak. We don't have much time. She moved to the main terminal. Phillips will have backup codes. He'll get in here. And the Korthax will breach the hull any minute. You need to work fast. Ethan stumbled to the console, inserted the data pad. His fingers felt numb. He accessed the station logs. Files appeared, thousands of them. Personnel records, communication arrays, access times, everything the Queen mentioned. He started cross-referencing. The ship shuddered. A massive impact. The lights went out. Emergency power kicked in seconds later. Red glow. Half the terminals went dark. They're boarding, the Queen said. She moved to the door. Weapon ready. How long do you need? I don't know. 5 minutes. Maybe 10. You have. 2 Ethan's fingers flew. He filtered by command. Narrowed it to 30 personnel. Filtered by communication array access. Down to 12. Filtered by timeline. Who accessed systems 30 minutes before the attack? 3 names appeared. Commander Phillips, Lieutenant Becker, Fleet Admiral Grant. His blood went cold. Oh no. What is it? I found them. The ones with access. He turned. Met her eyes. Grant's name is on the list. The Queen's face showed nothing. No surprise. No shock. Like she'd already known. Show me the specific access times. Ethan pulled up the data. Grant had accessed the communication array 28 minutes before the attack. Sent an encrypted burst transmission. Destination unknown. That could be routine, Ethan said. Command staff send dozens of encrypted messages. Look at the encryption key. He did. His stomach dropped. That's not fleet standard. No, it's Korthax protocol. We captured their encryption algorithms 6 months ago. Some of our people learned to use them. She moved closer to the screen. Grant's been talking to them. For months. But he's the fleet admiral. He has access to everything. Our entire defense grid. Every ship position. The door exploded inward. Dash. The blast threw Ethan backward. His head cracked against a server rack. Vision blurred. Ears ringing. Smoke filled the room. Through it came shapes. Not human. Korthax. They stood 7 feet tall. Armor like black insect shells. 4 arms. 2 held weapons. 2 ended in blades. Their faces were angular. Sharp. Eyes like dead stars. 3 of them pushed through the ruined doorway. The Queen fired. Her shots sparked off their armor. They didn't slow. One raised its weapon. Energy discharge lit the room. The blast missed her by inches. Melted a hole in the wall behind her. She rolled. Came up firing. Aimed for joints. For gaps in the armor. One Korthax stumbled. Green fluid leaked from its knee. It roared. The sound was like metal grinding. It kept coming. Ethan forced himself up. His vision swam. The datapad was still in his hand. Still had the evidence. Grant's name. The transmissions. Proof of treason. He had to get it out. Had to tell someone. A Korthax turned toward him. Raised its weapon. Ethan dove behind a server stack. The energy blast vaporized where he'd been standing. Heat washed over him. He scrambled deeper into the room. Servers on all sides, narrow passages between them. The Queen was still fighting. He heard her weapon. Heard the Korthax weapons answering. Heard something heavy hit the floor. Couldn't tell if it was her or them. He crawled forward, found a maintenance terminal, plugged in the datapad, started uploading the files, flagged them priority, sent them to every command station on the carrier, to Grant's personal terminal, to Fleet Command, to everyone. Someone grabbed his ankle, pulled. He slid backward, kicked. His boot connected with something hard. A Korthax blade arm swung down. He rolled. The blade cut through the deck plating like paper. Sparks flew. Ethan grabbed a length of severed cable, wrapped it around the Korthax's blade arm, pulled hard. The alien jerked forward. Off balance, Ethan kicked its knee. The joint bent wrong. It screamed that grinding scream. He ran. The upload was at 70%. Not enough. He needed more time. The Korthax behind him recovered. Came after him. Fast. Too fast. The Queen appeared from the smoke. She'd lost her weapon. Had a Korthax blade in her hands instead. Must have taken it from one of them. Caught the pursuing Korthax across the chest. Its armor held, but the impact staggered it. She threw the blade to Ethan. Finish the upload. I'll hold them. There's 3 of them. Then I'll die holding them. Upload the files. She turned back toward the Korthax, unarmed, facing 3 aliens with weapons and armor and every advantage. Ethan wanted to help, wanted to do something. But she was right. The files mattered more. Grant's treason mattered more. He ran back to the terminal. 85%. The room shook. Another boarding impact somewhere on the ship. How many Korthax were there? How long until the carrier fell? Behind him, the sounds of fighting. The Queen was fast, faster than the Korthax expected. She used the server racks, ducked between them, made them fight in tight spaces where their size was a disadvantage, but she couldn't keep it up forever. She was human. She got tired. They didn't. 90%. A Korthax energy weapon discharged. The blast took out an entire row of servers. Fire bloomed. Suppression systems activated. Foam sprayed everywhere. Visibility dropped to nothing. 95%. Ethan heard the Queen cry out. Not pain. Anger. More fighting. Something crashed. Metal tearing. Then, silence. Terrible silence. 100%. Upload complete. He pulled the datapad. Started moving toward where he'd last heard the Queen. The foam was clearing. He could see shapes again. 3 Korthax bodies on the floor, not moving. Green fluid pooled around them. The Queen sat against a server rack. Blood on her face. Her arm. Her side. She was breathing. Barely. Her eyes found him. Did it upload? Yes. Everyone has it now. Good. She tried to stand. Couldn't. Help me up. Ethan moved to her. Got his shoulder under her arm. Lifted. She was heavier than she looked. Dead weight. He half carried her toward the door. The door that was now a gaping hole. They emerged into the corridor. It was chaos. Human security forces fighting Korthax borders. Energy weapons and bullets. Screaming in that grinding alien roar. Bodies everywhere. Both species. A security officer saw them. Ran over. Your Majesty, we need to evacuate you. What's the situation? They've breached decks 2 through 6. We're holding at deck 7. Admiral Grant ordered full retreat to the evacuation bays. Grant. The Queen's voice was ice. Where is he? Command deck. Coordinating the defense. He's not coordinating anything. He's the one who let them in. She pushed off Ethan. Stood on her own, through sheer will. Take me to him. Ma'am, you're injured. I've been injured before. Move. They moved. The security officer and 2 others formed a protective box around them. They fought through corridors, past burning sections, past makeshift medical stations full of wounded, past the faces of people who were losing hope. They reached the command deck. The doors were sealed. The security officer entered his override code. Nothing happened. He tried again. "Grant locked it down," the Queen said. "He's abandoning ship, leaving everyone to die while he escapes. We can cut through. Plasma torch. 5 minutes. We don't have 5 minutes." Ethan looked at the datapad, at the files, at Grant's transmission logs. An idea formed, terrible and desperate. "I can open it," he said. Everyone looked at him. The Queen's eyes narrowed. "How?" "Grant's access codes are in these files, his personal encryption keys. Everything. I can spoof his command authorization. Make the door think he's opening it." "Do it." Ethan connected to the door's security panel, started running the codes. It took 30 seconds, the longest 30 seconds of his life. Then the lock cycled, the door opened, the command deck was empty, almost empty. Grant stood at the main terminal, a small case in his hand. He turned as they entered. His face showed no surprise, no guilt, nothing. "I wondered how long it would take you to figure it out," he said. The Queen walked toward him, slow, steady, blood still dripping from her wounds. "How much did they pay you?" "Enough. More than enough." Grant smiled. "The Korthax don't want to destroy humanity. They want to rule it. And they need administrators, governors, someone who understands how humans think. You sold out your entire species for a management position. The Korthax have already won. This war ended before it began. I'm just smart enough to see it. You're a traitor. And you're under arrest." Grant laughed. "With what authority?" "This ship is about to fall. The Korthax will control it within the hour. And I'll be on an escape shuttle heading to their flagship, where I'll be welcomed as an ally." He raised a detonator. "I've rigged the reactor core. If anyone tries to stop me, this entire carrier becomes a fireball. 3,000 lives gone in an instant." The Queen stopped. "You'd kill your own crew." "They're already dead. They just don't know it yet." Ethan's grip tightened on the blade he still held. The Korthax blade. Grant hadn't noticed it. Too focused on the Queen, on his escape plan, on his victory. The Queen spoke quietly. "Cole, do you trust me?" "Yes." "Then close your eyes." Ethan closed them. Heard the Queen move. Fast. Heard Grant shout. Heard something clatter to the floor. The detonator. Heard a struggle. Then a wet sound. A gasp. "You can open them now." Ethan did. Grant was on the floor. The Korthax blade through his chest. The Queen stood over him. Her face was empty of emotion. Grant's eyes were wide. Disbelieving, he tried to speak. Only blood came out. "The Korthax don't need administrators," the Queen said. "They need slaves. You would have learned that eventually." Grant stopped moving. The Queen pulled the blade free, turned to the security officers, broadcast to all hands. "Grant is dead. The traitor is dead. We hold this ship. We fight." One of the officers moved to the communications panel, started sending the message. The Queen walked to the main tactical display, called up fleet positions. Her fingers danced across controls. "Redirect all available ships to our position. Authorization priority Omega. Tell them the Queen commands it." She looked at Ethan. Blood and determination. "We're not dying today, Cole. We're winning." The message went out across all frequencies. The Queen's voice carried through every deck of the carrier, every ship in the fleet, clear and unwavering. "This is your Queen. Admiral Grant betrayed us. He is dead. The Korthax board our ships because they believe we are broken. They are wrong." Ethan watched the tactical display. Red markers everywhere. Korthax forces swarming. But something changed. The human ships that had been retreating stopped, turned, began coordinating. "We have bled. We have lost. But we're still here. Still human. Still fighting." The Queen's hand moved across the controls. "All ships concentrate fire on their command vessel. Ignore the scouts. Kill the head." The display shifted. Every human ship in range redirected weapons. The Korthax command vessel was massive, twice the size of the carrier. bristling with weapons. But now it faced concentrated fire from 8 human ships simultaneously. They think we hesitate. They think we question ourselves. Today we show them what happens when humans stop thinking and start acting. The command vessel's shields flared, held, then buckled. Armor underneath began to peel away. Atmosphere vented. The Korthax tried to retreat, but human fighters had already cut off their escape vector. On the carrier, the Korthax boarders stopped advancing. Their coordination faltered. Some tried to retreat to their boarding craft. Others fought harder, desperate. To every Korthax listening, you came to our home. You glassed our colonies. You killed our children. The Queen's voice went cold. Now you learn why you should have left humanity alone. The command vessel exploded. Not a clean explosion. It broke apart in sections, became debris and corpses and metal fragments. The Korthax fleet scattered, lost cohesion. Human ships pursued. No mercy. No quarter. Ethan watched it happen. Watched the tide turn. The security officers on the command deck were cheering, calling out confirmed kills. Korthax ships burning, retreating. The Queen turned off the broadcast, swayed, caught herself on the terminal. Ethan moved to support her. She was pale, the blood loss catching up. Medical team to command deck, one of the officers called. Emergency priority. I'm fine, the Queen said, but she wasn't. Her eyes were losing focus. You're not fine, Ethan said. You need a doctor. Later. Right now, I need to see this through. You already did. Look. He gestured to the display. They're running. We won. She looked. The red markers were disappearing, jumping to faster than light, abandoning the attack. The human losses were severe. 2 destroyers destroyed. The carrier heavily damaged. Thousands dead. But they'd held, survived. Medical personnel rushed onto the deck, began treating the Queen despite her protests. Ethan stepped back, let them work. He felt hollow, empty, like everything that just happened was a dream, a nightmare. One of the officers approached him. Sir, the Queen's staff is asking for your status. They want to know if you need medical attention. I'm not her staff. I'm cargo specialist. Not anymore. She transferred you, full command authority. You're listed as special advisor to the Crown. Effective immediately. Ethan stared. She did what? About 2 hours ago. Right before we docked. It's in the official records. 2 hours ago. When she'd told him to say he was part of her security detail. She'd actually made it real. Made him part of something he never asked for. Never wanted. The Queen caught his eye from where the medics worked. Smiled slightly. Like she knew exactly what he was thinking. I can't be an advisor, Ethan said. I don't know anything about command, about tactics, about any of this. You figured out Grant was a traitor. You helped stop a Korthax boarding party. You stood between armed soldiers and the Queen without hesitation. The officer shrugged. Seems like you know enough. The medics finished stabilizing the Queen. They wanted to move her to medical bay. She refused. Taught her on her own. Walked to Ethan. Her steps were steadier now. The treatment working. You did well, Cole. I got lucky. Luck is just preparation meeting opportunity. You prepared by being observant. By being brave. By trusting your instincts. You made me your advisor. You didn't ask. Would you have said yes if I asked? No. Exactly. She smiled. Tired, but genuine. You sat next to me by mistake. You stayed because I asked. You fought because it was right. Those aren't the actions of someone who runs away from responsibility. I'm not qualified for this. None of us are. We become qualified by doing what needs doing. She placed a hand on his shoulder. The war isn't over. The Korthax will regroup. They'll come again, but now they know something they didn't before. What's that? Humans are most dangerous when we're cornered, when we have nothing left to lose, when we stop being afraid and start being angry. She looked at the tactical display, at the fleeing enemy ships. They wanted to break us. Instead, they woke us up. Ethan followed her gaze, thought about the station, the people who died there, the people who died defending this carrier, all the people who would die before this war ended. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now we rebuild. We hunt down every traitor Grant was working with. We take the fight to the Korthax homeworld. We show them that humanity doesn't surrender, doesn't break, doesn't forgive." She turned back to him. Her eyes held something fierce, something unbreakable. "And you're going to help me do it. Not because you're qualified, not because you want to, but because you're here. Because you stood when you could have run. Because you're human." Ethan thought about arguing, about refusing, about going back to loading cargo and pretending none of this happened. But he knew he couldn't, knew he wouldn't the moment he'd sat in that seat next to her. His life had changed. No going back. "All right," he said. "I'm in." The Queen smiled. "Good, because we have a lot of work to do." Outside the viewport, human ships regrouped, damaged but unbroken. Behind them, stars stretched infinite. Somewhere out there, the Korthax were planning their next move. But so was humanity. And humanity had just remembered something important. They were survivors. Fighters. Stubborn and fierce and absolutely unwilling to go quietly into extinction. The war was far from over. But for the first time in months, humanity had hope. Had momentum. Had a queen who wouldn't back down, and an accidental advisor who'd learned that sometimes the right place was wherever you happened to be when the universe needed you. Ethan looked at the Queen, at the officers working to save their ship, at the stars beyond. "So where do we start?" he asked. The Queen's smile turned sharp. "Dangerous. Ready. We start by making